What if I told you that a life purpose, your life purpose, and a goal in which to move it forward is the very reason why you were born and came to this earth? Knowing what you want is the first step to getting what you want through the law of goal setting. This is a twofold process. You ask, that is, vibrate your wish and intention of what you want to see manifest to that which we may call creative intelligence or God by setting the goal and feeling the reality of that goal right now. All requests move via the communication of feeling about a thing. Quite literally, feeling is believing, and you will see it when you feel it. And feel it you must, over and over again, day after day after day, with faith, joy, and anticipation. There are essentially two ways that you can set a goal. You could do it mentally or written. Writing your goal down on an index card and reading it out loud once in the morning and once just before retiring to bed at night, while seeing and feeling the reality of it in your mind as though it were already here in your experience, is an excellent way to get the ball rolling and the creative ideas flowing that will give you the road map and perfect plan that will allow your dream to become a reality. Why you must have goals. A man without a goal is like a ship without a rudder. I think that you would agree that if you got inside of a motorboat with no guiding rudder in the harbor, revved it up, and let it go wheresoever, once it took off into the open waters, the chances of it crashing into the rocks, capsizing, or smashing into another boat would be a very likely fate of such a foolish disembarkment. But isn't this exactly what we do with our lives when we go about day by day hoping that something better will happen to us, or at least nothing worse in life will befall us? This is called living by default. Living by default assumes that there is nothing you can do to make your life better. And if you know what you can do and don't do it, your life is no better than a person who doesn't know. Goals work as does the magnifying glass. Place a piece of paper on the sidewalk in the bright sun on a clear summer day. Stand there for about an hour or two and see what happens. Assuming that you secure the paper to the ground with a weight on the edge, it will still be there, a little warmer perhaps, but unchanged. Now, take out a magnifying glass and point it onto the center of the paper and pull the magnifying glass back just a little more until the light spot that is beamed onto the paper begins to sizzle within seconds and thus burns a hole through it. The magnifying glass takes the rays of the sun and concentrates it onto the paper such that now those same warm sun rays can do things that it could not until it was concentrated. Thus is the power of goals. Goals are the magnifying glass which take the infinite powers of your mind and concentrate them with such power that they can burn and cut through any obstacle set before it. There is nothing more powerful than a made-up mind with a goal at the forefront. I first heard the following example by the great motivational speaker Zig Ziglar, and I want to give you my synopsis of it. Okay, let's take the world's greatest archer, someone who could say, hit a bullseye 10 out of 10 times from 100 yards away with a bow and arrow. I can show you right now how to outshoot this professional archer even though you may have never picked up a bow and arrow in your life. How, you say? Easy. Just blindfold this archer, spin him around a few times, and ask him to shoot. It sounds silly, doesn't it? You're surely asking yourself right now, but Charles, how could he hit a target he can't even see? Well, I have an even better question for you. How can you hit a target that you don't even have? You must have goals. Now, there is another trap that you can fall into. Some people confuse activity with accomplishment. Some of us load up our lives with all sorts of insignificant, time-wasting activities that can literally crowd out the days of our lives, making it impossible to achieve anything significant. You must first know and define what is important to you. Then you must start about with plans and steps to accomplishment. Do you know what a processionary caterpillar is? Well, it's a very curious and furry little caterpillar which follows the caterpillar in front of it without question. The assumption is that the first caterpillar in the line knows where the food is, or at least is the one on alert and looking for it. Sometimes there may be dozens of caterpillars following each other, following the first caterpillar who they assume knows where the food is. Now, let me tell you this. A scientist tried this experiment. He found a row of processionary caterpillars traveling in a straight line along a woods trail. And all of the caterpillars were following that first caterpillar who all of the ones who were following assumed knew where the food was, or at least was the one who is on alert for the food. Now, he directed that first caterpillar to follow the back of the last caterpillar until all of the caterpillars formed a perfect circle, following each other round and round and round. Then the scientists put some needles, which is the food for caterpillars, in the middle of the circle. Now, here it gets interesting. The caterpillars followed each other in that circle for hours and hours, for days and days, until they literally dropped dead from exhaustion when the goal, the food, the pine needles were right there in the middle. When you do not set your own agenda, that is, set and follow your own goal, you become swept away by the agenda and thinking of the masses. Without a goal, you become just like the processionary caterpillar, doing what other people are doing, going where other people are going, and having what other people are having. If I stopped you right now and asked you, what is your primary goal in life? Could you tell me without hesitation? In order not to become the human processionary caterpillar, you must discover your life purpose and set your life goal. How to discover your life purpose. This is a big one for a lot of people. It really is. Many people say, if I only knew what my life purpose was, I most surely would pursue it. Let me tell you this. Once you seriously set yourself on the path of seeking and searching for your life purpose, you have automatically placed yourself amongst the top 5% of the most enlightened individuals of society. To find your life purpose is the most important decision any human being can make. In finding your life purpose, you also answer other very deep and profound questions that scholars and sages have pondered all throughout the ages. Who am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going? Discovering and following your life purpose is the key to your experience of heaven on earth. Why? Because at the core of your life is your joy. Because the joyful doing of anything lies in using some facet of a God-given talent or gift that you have always known in your heart, but had never done anything about it due to a negative mindset. Whatever be your secret dream, whatever be your wish, whatever be your vision for your life, you most certainly can obtain it, or the wish would have never been placed in your heart in the first place. Then why don't people achieve their goals? Well, people don't achieve their goals because they don't set any goals firmly or long enough in their minds on which to take action. If you don't truly have everything that you really want, I'm going to tell you right now why not. Answer the following question by filling in the blanks. I would like to, and state your goal, but okay, let's come up with a goal. Let me think. I'm going to come up with something random. Let's say you want to become an artificial intelligence programmer. Okay, let's use that as an example. So, this is why you don't have what you really want. When you answer the following question, such as this: I would like to become an artificial intelligence programmer, but, and then you give a but. I would like to be an artificial intelligence programmer, but, and you have the second but. I would like to become an artificial intelligence programmer, but, and you state the third but, or a fourth but, or a fifth but. So, what am I saying? Is that whenever you don't achieve what you want, it is always because somewhere, somehow, along the line, you let your butt get in the way. And the butt that's in the way is always your big butt. If we are not achieving our goals, or if we are not in the process or on the path of following our heart's desire, we must ask ourselves, what is it that I am not willing to do at present? Let me repeat that and let it set in. What is it that I am not willing to do at present? Honestly, are you saying I can't afford to pursue my purpose because A, I might fail and I would not be able to support myself? Or B, I don't have enough money to start? Or C, I'm just too busy doing other things? Or D, any quote unquote good excuse, which is a bad reason not to start. Purpose versus goals. Many people sometimes confuse and believe that a purpose is the same as a goal. This is not the case. A purpose is a direction, and a goal is one of the many specific ways of going in that direction. For example, going west is a direction. And this we might similarly call a purpose. However, flying from New York to Seattle, driving from Florida to San Francisco, or hitchhiking from Detroit to Portland would all be considered goals. All are different ways, but with the same direction or purpose of going west. Goals may change, but purpose is permanent. Your purpose was assigned and designated to you from the day you were born. This is the thrust or direction that you unconsciously find yourself taking over and over again all throughout your life as a result of the way your hidden gifts and talents are silently guiding you. There are certain things and activities that you always enjoy and always do well naturally. This is the direction of your purpose. The way you fulfill your purpose may take on the appearances of many jobs, careers, occupations, and hobbies until you find the perfect vehicle that will take you in the direction of your purpose by the most direct, scenic, and satisfying route. Do what you love and nothing else, and the success and the money will follow. Follow your bliss. Your bliss is your joy. Your joy is what you love doing. What you love doing is what you do naturally. What you do naturally is consciously or unconsciously the exercise of a special gift or talent which you possess. Your special gift or talent, when channeled to and focused on a specific goal, becomes the key to never-ending success and happiness in your life. Goals are the many paths of your life purpose. Quite simply, a goal is a specific route or detailed plan of a journey, an itinerary, if you wish, expressed as a certain job, career, profession, or business, which is chosen in the way it points along the path of our never-ending lifelong purpose, which is based on our talents and gifts, essentially who we are and who we must become if we allow it to be as it was imprinted upon us from the day we were born. We tend to automatically express our life purpose through various jobs, careers, professions, and business opportunities on an ever-increasing upward spiral of growth through greater and greater challenges and subsequently greater and greater achievements. There is no once and forever goal or opportunity that will necessarily suit you perfectly now until the end of your life, with absolutely no change, growth, or expansion. Over the course of his or her lifetime, a person, for example, may be a gardener, a worker for an environmental protection group, a writer, a politician, and/or business entrepreneur. And though these activities or goals are different, they are still consistent with his or her purpose. The question to ask yourself right now is, what is the most logical thing that I should be doing right now, or at least striving to do based on my current situation and my past life experiences? And what are the strongest yearnings that I hold in my heart right now? The transformational power of a goal. There is a certain irony in the reaching of a goal. The achievement of a goal is not nearly as important as the process which took you there. As a result of achieving a goal, you have become a new person. You had to overcome obstacles, challenges, and stumbling blocks of all kinds. In order to do this, you had to develop new skills, new strengths, new perspectives, new insights, new knowledge, and new wisdom. Had you not had a goal to achieve, none of this could have ever happened. When you reach for a goal, follow your dreams, meet and overcome the challenges that stand in your way, realize it or not, you have been skillfully trained with weights, pulleys, and stair climbing in life's spiritual fitness center by the greatest master trainer of all. The processional effect. When you strive and move toward a goal, your experience is much like the processional effect of the honeybee. The honeybee instinctually has a goal. The goal is to gather as much nectar as possible from flower to flower. Nectar gathering may be the ostensible goal, but in the process of its objective, this honeybee unwittingly achieves the pollination of the flowers necessary for the growth of new blossoms and new flowers. So, a goal is not important because you achieve it, but because of what it makes you become. A goal is nature's way of making you become more. The law of life is evolutionary. The law of life is that you must always become more. This is why when you achieve a goal, when a goal is reached, another and probably greater goal is usually embarked upon. Life always seeks to grow and to expand through you evermore and evermore. Before you go off and embark upon a new career in a new field, or before you seek out a new business opportunity, examine very closely first the job, profession, or work you are now doing. That is, the profession or industry where you have had the majority of your life experience. Now, I'm not saying that you must continue down the same old trodden path, but only make sure you're not walking away from an obvious new start in a field that you already know and have a place in. Everything that you have experienced and have learned up until now has been the platform for your next step upward. There are no accidents in a perfectly ordered universe of laws, of cause and effect. You have experienced everything that you have up until now as the necessary preparation for your next important steps of growth, whatever they may be. There is a funny thing about conscious selection of a goal when none is obvious at the moment. Goals tend to seek you out. What I mean is that oftentimes upon the commencement of a particular goal, through a series of unexpected events and so-called coincidences, you are led to something much better than you ever dreamed of. But what is for sure, you must choose a goal and start somewhere. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at first. Just choose something, anything, and make corrections later. Choosing a worthwhile goal. Success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile goal. For a goal to be worthwhile, it must serve and improve the quality of life of others. Therefore, if you have a worthy goal, and if you are actively and progressively engaged in the step-by-step pursuit of it, serving others, enjoying the challenges and triumphs along the way, be it in the beginning, middle, or final stages of its achievement, you are, by definition, a success. Later, money becomes your physical scorecard as to how well you are doing on the material level. If money happens to be also part of your goal as well. Discovering your purpose through serving others. I have had people frequently ask me, Charles, but how can I find my true purpose? Well, if it is your purpose, it automatically becomes true. However, I have at last found an easy, surefire answer to this all-consuming question by the searcher of truth and light. Just look around in your immediate life right now and ask, what is it that I can do to provide the most service to others? Let me repeat that question again, because if you can grasp its significance, you will never have to worry about your purpose, how to make a living, and not have to worry about having enough money and prosperity in your life ever again. The question is, what is it that I can do to provide the most service to others right now? Start right here with this question and keep looking for the perfect occupation, profession, and business opportunity vehicle that will allow you to give more and greater ways of service to others using your particular training, talents, gifts, and personal life experience. The purpose of everyone's life on this planet, when you think about it deeply and profoundly enough, is to answer, how can I give more service to others with who I am, with what I know, where I've been, and where I could go? Make your life about giving and serving others, and your true purpose will be effortlessly and obviously revealed to you. This I promise you. This has been yours truly, Charles Prosper, your consistency success coach, wishing you as always to remain consistent and to be successful.